Hey there, folks, and welcome back to another episode of our venture in the visual novel If My Heart Had Wings Flight Diary. In the last episode, Aoi had asked Kotori out on a date, which they haven't done in a while, to which had taken Kotori aback, which is understandable considering the mess that the two of them were currently in and the amount of tensions thereforth. But after speaking with Izuka about it, Kotori, of course, was given a little bit more direction on what she needs to do, and therefore accepted. And in the next day, Kotori had requested from Asa for some assistance as a means to help her get dressed, to which, upon coming out to meet Aoi, was in a sky blue type of dress, which I'll admit was actually really nice, and she looked really good in it. So with that, the two of them hit the town and discussed what they would do first, to which the first thing, of course, is get some breakfast, because neither of them had eaten yet. To which Kotori wanted to go to this kind of a bagel sandwich type of place, and she would pick up the tab, and insisted on that as well, probably most likely as a means to apologize, maybe. Of course, not before telling Aoi to mind his manners. I'm like, okay. Moving on, the two of them also discussed seeing a movie, to which one of them happened to be a unanimous decision, was kind of an old school tale, if you will. Not something that most modern folks around that age might not be interested in, but they were. And upon going to the mall and watching the movie and afterwards, there's always a dialogue afterwards, to which Kotori definitely gave a huge thumbs up to that particular show. And then moving on, Aoi had walked around with Kotori into the mall and looking at all the different types of clothes modeling that were going on and said, you know, Kotori, you actually look good in some jeans. Kotori was like, you sure? So then Aoi said, want to try them on? And that's where we last left. So let's see what the verdict is with Kotori's response to that question. All right, folks, let's see what the verdict is. No? She actually answered no. How about that? Kotori walked past the shop. Later, when we'd seen basically all the shops on the floor. What's on your mind? Nothing catch your eye? I didn't see anything that would look better than that dress you were wearing. I mean, I would think you were probably trying to say what she was thinking. Kotori nodded and looked at a reflection of herself in her sky blue dress in the window. It's been a long time since you wore it. Okay, maybe he wasn't. Understandable. Yeah, I guess we haven't really had a date in a while. I felt bad for being such a terrible boyfriend. But still, it looks really good on you. That blue, like a cloudless sky, fit Kotori perfectly. I'd bought the dress for her back when we first got together, but she still saved it for special occasions. She looked really serious. Honestly, if she was sitting, you would not get to see the one-piece silhouette, so I could see what she meant. But that wasn't why it suited her so well. You think? I think it's because the one modeling it looks so good. Kotori was beautiful as always today. Anyway, since we're here, why not try on something if there's anything you like? Kotori's eyes suddenly glittered. She suddenly had the eyes of a hunter with its prey in sight. If it looks good on you. I had, in fact, assembled a war chest just for this purpose. Yeah, just be sure you mind your manners. Kotori turned around to retrace our route, suddenly full of enthusiasm. went to several shops trying on outfits, and I bought her one top and one bottom.
ありがとう葵大事に着るね
I hope you do. We ended up buying the ripped jeans and matching Fox Punk skull-patterned t-shirt I'd spotted earlier. How about that? Trying on clothes was not easy for her, so I helped out. All of them looked really good on her. Everyone's gonna go nuts when they see you in these.
そうかな
You look like the perfect little princess character, so people make assumptions, you know? May look like it, but the attitude might need a little bit of adjustment to reflect that. Hey, I'm being realistic here. The gap between people's image of her and how she looked in those clothes would give anyone a shock.
今中身はともかくって言ったね
Of course, her mom and dad might be a little confused by her daughter's new look. I bet her old man would think she'd fallen in with a bad crowd. It's like another all-new Kotori. Why is the music fading? I thought she'd be happy, but suddenly her face darkened and she clutched the shopping bag to her chest. Game, what are you doing? What's wrong?
あのねいつもありがとう
Okay, I think we're good so far. Don't worry about it. I mean, I like to see you looking good, so... I couldn't see what was wrong with taking my beautiful girlfriend out for a date and enjoying the stares people were giving us.
そうじゃなくていやそれもなんだけど
Alright, what's on your mind? By the way, folks, here's a good thing to consider. If you're going to talk about heavy subjects like this with whether it's your domestic partner or any loved one, you're best doing this behind closed doors. Don't do this in public, because it's going to make a big scene and it can cause a lot of problems. Plus, that's a lot of peer pressure. So when you're talking about stuff like this, do it behind closed doors, where it's just you and the other person. If you need a witness or a mediator, get a witness or a mediator. But the point is, do it in private.
私たち喧嘩してたでしょ
Yeah, but so far the fight is over, so now you just need to reconcile. I told you, it was all you. I didn't want to fight with you at all.
してたの喧嘩
Okay, but let's just reconcile it. Kotori protested angrily. I figured I'd concede the point and just move on.
いつも私が意地張って葵に気を使わせちゃってるでしょ
Well, it's not too late to turn that around. That's another point. You know, when we get set on something, that's just us, but it doesn't mean the other person necessarily has to be on board with it, especially if it's something that's dysfunctional. Especially now. I said I wasn't trying to argue with you.
ちょっと黙っててくれる
All right, then get it out. She glared at me. Okay. I was split between finding her adorable and stubborn. Yeah, stubbornness is a huge turnoff for me.
今日も葵からデートに誘ってくれて本当は自分から謝らなくちゃって思ってたの石香さんにもそうしなさいって言ってもらってそれでなのにだからその
Kotori came close to me and grabbed my hand.
ありがとう
It was difficult to tell if she was being sincere or just obstinate. I could not help thinking, my girlfriend is so cute. Being with Kotori was full of all kinds of ups and downs, but the reason we stayed together was simple. I loved her. I loved her just as much as the day we had met. So, does this mean we've made up?
葵がいいなら。
Kotori looked up at me anxiously. I thought for a moment, with those teary eyes looking up at me. Yeah, you kinda don't want to delay that, in particular. But then again, he was asking to be made up, so I think that's an indication that he wants to. While I was thinking, Kotori's tears started to flow. Whoa, don't cry. That's not why I was silent.
じゃあ何？本当はもう私に呆れ返ってるんじゃないの？
Kotori, if he was sick of you, he would not have invited you out on a date. As a matter of fact, he would have initiated the breakup if he was sick of you. Come on, put it in perspective. No, not at all. I tried to keep a serious face as proof of my feelings. I think I should apologize too. I'm really sorry about this stuff with work. I know I promised to go with you.
謝らないでよ。それ謝られたら私めちゃめちゃかっこ悪いじゃん。
Well, when we make poor decisions, we're gonna look bad. That's how it works. But we don't have to stay looking bad. When we correct those issues, then we can look good again. No, stop. Yesterday, I went to look for you at the hangar. This time, it was my turn to hide my face. Aoi, are you gonna tell her that you were there? And I heard you talking to Izuka. I have a sneaky suspicion this is not going to turn out well. You probably should have kept that to yourself, Aoi, and just worked stuff out as it is. Maybe this needed to come out. Let's see. For a moment, Kotori looked utterly stunned. Then I could actually see her turning red. You better hold it together, girl. Then she started trembling. Her embarrassed expression grew hard. Squeeze. Kotori squeezed my hand with all her strength. Not obviously from love. More to keep me from escaping, I think. As a side note, Kotori had spent years pushing herself in her wheelchair. She had considerable hand strength. Once she'd pinned down her target, she'd raised her cane back to get a full swing. Okay, folks, we need to talk about this, because I've known this to be a huge problem. This is not acceptable at all. Hurting someone just because they've witnessed something embarrassing, or if it's something that because they may have said that caused you to feel embarrassed, or for some odd reason you just feel embarrassed. I have seen this type of behavior known by dozens of people from either side. This is not acceptable, and no one should ever tolerate this kind of treatment. It only makes the situation worse. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I have no problem defending myself by whatever force is necessary to stop the threat. I do not see any point in basically applying the acts of chivalry when all I'm gonna get in return is abuse of it. So I would give a serious, respectful advisory. Folks, and you know who you are, stop doing this. This is not helping the situation. Well, wait! Don't hit me with that. You'll do serious damage.
あんたを殺して私も死ぬ。
Or how about you just break up with him if that's really a deal breaker? Because I don't see Aoi as the type who would just start blabbing this to other people. Her eyes were serious when she said that. This was no joke. That was just how much you didn't want me to know. I'm really, really sorry. It was an act of God. There was something I wanted to show you, and then...
どこからどこまで聞いたの？
How you didn't have a dream, how Aga and I did, and that you didn't want to be left behind.
死ね
You know what? If you are really gonna be that sensitive, you need to rethink whether you actually should consider a mate, Kotori. Again, folks, if you're going to be this sensitive that you can't talk with your mate on a level you can be vulnerable, forget it. Just forget it. Wait, remember where you are! This was one of Japan's leading fashion malls, Wendy's. I somehow got Kotori to stop brandishing her cane wildly. People passing by looked at us like we were having a simple lover spat, unaware they were about to become witnesses to a deletion.
何？惨めな私を笑いたいの？それとも優しく保護してくれるわけ？
So one, you're making assumptions, Kotori. I doubt that there was at any given point in time that he would be interested in laughing at you as some type of pathetic little you. Because if you look at it, are you not rehabilitating? Are you not gathering strength to be able to walk again? So how does that constitute as pathetic? And really, what is your definition of pathetic? So this is something again, folks. How can we declare ourselves as pathetic when we're doing what's necessary to grow? And then the other one, or you wanted me to be, or you wanted to be my kind and ever-suffering guardian. You know what? When it comes to marriage vows, it does say, for better or for worse, till death do we part. Because ultimately, that's a vow. Understand, a vow is saying you give this person your word that you'll be by their side. Now, of course, there are other factors surrounding that can obviously be a deal breaker, but they're talking about in good faith. And obviously, this is obviously in good faith, is it not? I don't see any form of infidelity or unfaithfulness in this. So why would that classify as just that? Especially when she's rehabilitating. So again, jumping to conclusions without looking at all of the facts surrounding it. This is the danger of operating in our emotions. This is the danger in that. And this is not just intimate relationships. This can happen in platonic relationships as well. So it's all around. Venom dripped from every word. This hurt more than her cane ever would. I didn't know how worried you were. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I had been convinced she was just sad because everyone was leaving after graduation. Even though I'd seen her face looking so passionately at the sky time and again. Kotori's face went redder, and she looked away from me. It was the face of pure embarrassment.
別にいつかさんに話聞いてもらってすっきりしたからもういい。
Kotori let go of my hand. But it was my turn to take hers and keep her from leaving. If I let go, I had a feeling I would lose something forever. I think you're misunderstanding something.
誤解？何を？
Listen with an open mind, Kotori. Don't listen to just reply. I took a deep breath. Listen, what I'm about to tell you was something I never, ever wanted you to know. So it's a lot like what you told Izuka, just so you know. I really, really don't want to talk about this.
言いなさい。
Kotori's eyes were gleaming. She was clearly ready to make good on her threat of deletion by blunt object. I took another breath, opened my mouth, and started to talk. Let's find out what I was going to tell her on the next episode. Folks, this goes back to Communication 101, but one thing that I've been taught and I have learned, we cannot communicate effectively if our comprehension is screwed up like this. You've seen the results for yourself, folks. You've seen it time and time again. If our comprehension on what we're comprehending is totally off, we're not going to be able to communicate effectively. And one of the worst ways is those emotions. When those emotions are unregulated, when they are uncontrolled, and we're just allowing ourselves to run amok, we make the situation worse. And 9 times out of 10, when we do that, we're also going to violate the trust people have in us. Because guess what? There are going to be embarrassing things. There are going to be some discussions. There are going to be some subjects that may cause us discomfort. But folks, we're supposed to be there for the people that we love to try to get it right, to try to get it fixed. And many of them are already on edge to begin with. So when we react in a manner as we are, we're making it worse. We're making it so we're basically proving that we can't be trustworthy, that we're not trustworthy. A baseline of trust is given, but distrust is earned through our foolish actions. Yes, just as we can earn trust and respect, we can also earn distrust, and we can earn a lack of trust. So we need to make it up in our minds now. Are we going to show ourselves as trustworthy, or are we going to show ourselves as untrustworthy? And that's a decision we have to make for our own actions. What a person does with their own actions, that's their accountability. What we do with ours in response to that is our accountability. Got to work that out. But with that, I want to thank everyone for watching this video this time around. If you enjoyed it, by all means, a like is greatly appreciated. And if you want to watch more, and if you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing, and also be sure to activate notifications so you can be informed on the next productions to be released. And until next time, happy mixing, everyone.